We have a two-time winning nerd taking on a two-time winning boss in what's nothing short of an epic Emmy showdown. But wait, the biggest guy in stand-up is ready to take both of those hot contenders down. We also have in the mix a former Friends star and a ruthless PR exec. And let's not forget the one son who had no choice but to return to television after 7 years in the wilderness. It's lead actor in a comedy series brought to you by Gold Derby. The big question in the Emmy showdown for Best Lead Actor in a Comedy Series is, will voters go with something old or something new? Let's start with the old, since they've been there before and they could go there again. Where we have Jim Parsons and Alec Baldwin both nominated. They have 4 Emmys between them, 2 apiece. Let's start by talking a bit about Jim Parsons, since I guess he won more recently. With Jim Parsons, you've got a very iconic, funny, over-the-top character from a show that's nominated for Best Comedy Series and is the top rating show in the country. What a great spot for him to be in. We know they like him. He's won twice before. And he submitted an episode that's pretty funny. He starts off with a bit of a fun with flags thing, then he doesn't back up his girlfriend in an argument, and then by the end of the episode he's sort of in a drunken fight with his friend Will Wheaton, or enemy Will Wheaton on the show. So it marks all the boxes. Just the question is there Jim Parsons fatigue? He wasn't able to win last year. This year he's got a bit of a stronger tape, but it's not really the most memorable tape in the world either. It's going to be a real question of, is this a character that they're going to give a third Emmy to? Is this going to pop out from this field? And he's got a good chance of that happening. Now, our editors, Chris Beecham and Tom O'Neill, got a chance to talk with Jim Parsons about the Emmys. Let's hear what he had to say.
Jim Parsons, multiple Emmy winner. You portray a physicist on television, and I've got to ask, is there a secret scientific formula to winning an Emmy? Is there like E equals MC squared and E is Emmy, or not?
Having been fortunate enough to win one, I can tell you it certainly doesn't feel that there's any sort of formula at all.
Okay.
Even getting nominated.
Well, we disagree. We disagree, and we're here to yes, and we think we have figured out your formula. And Chris is that I hope this doesn't sound too cheeky, but Jim, we think you have a drinking problem. Chris, explain.
You know, you've been up 4 times and you've won twice, and in both of those years, your character Sheldon gets drunk.
And now this year, your episode is you're drinking again, right, Chris? His episode.
He is. He's got the. It's accidental this time, though. You get the Long Island teas from Penny.
Yes, this is Penny's version of slipping me a roofie, I guess, or whatever. Which is, I love bar scenes between Sheldon and Penny. They make me so happy. Kaylee's so fun to work in with them. They dress her up as, you know, she's always playing that she's a bad waitress, and she says so. But when she's behind that bar, she takes on this real authority. And that's one of the beautiful things about the relationship Penny and Sheldon have always had, is that I think works. For as different as they are and as smarter, quote-unquote, he's supposed to be than her, she's always kind of taken a sort of a voice of authority with him through her own, I don't know, street smart way or whatever, and kind of puts him in his place.
Chris and I were talking before we started up here about the last time you won an Emmy, and what a huge surprise it was because you beat Steve Carell in his final year.
I arrived, you never know with these, I'm sure you've heard or have even been through it, but like the red carpets of these things, you never know when the traffic's going to get so bad. It's like, well, we should have left 3 hours ago. And that one I got so late they wouldn't let me in at the top of the show. And so I remember Ty Burrell won, Julie Bowen won, and I'm listening in the lobby with some other latecomers. I'm just listening to this. And so I had just been rushed in, and I don't know if it was the very next commercial break or whatever that the category came up. Also, there was kind of a brouhaha that year because Charlie Sheen was presenting the award, which there was some, you know, there was some oddity at that time about that. And so there were a lot of stunning features for me. It only served, though, to, like you say, reinforce the unpredictability of all of it.
Now, another one of these returning contenders is Alec Baldwin. Now, he's had his fair share of controversies over the past, past decade. But he's always seemed to weather the storm and seemed to maintain respect in the industry. He's won the last 7 Screen Actors Guild Awards for this particular performance. They love him. He gets nominated the Emmys every year. He's won twice before. Alec Baldwin, and it's 30 Rock's last season. This is their last chance to give Jack Donaghy an Emmy, and I could definitely see the Emmys going, you know what? We love Jack. We love Alec. Let's throw him another one. However, his biggest problem actually, is the episode he submitted is not a very good one. In some ways, all his scenes, it's really the focus is on Kenneth and not Jack. So he's really submitted a bad one here where he's choosing to give Kenneth the head of NBC role. He didn't go with the final, which would be more nostalgic. He didn't go with other episodes where he had more showy scenes. So it looks like Alec may have shot himself in the foot unless 30 Rock nostalgia and just respect for Alec is high enough that they're going to give him that 3rd Emmy. Now, we've got these 2-time winners, but we've got 4 contenders in this race that have never won this category before. And, boy, let's kick off with Louis C.K. because he is in a great spot. He's got a handful. He's got like 9 nominations this year in various categories for different specials and shows and stuff he's done. There's just a lot of love for Louis at the moment. He is so cool. He's so popular. There just seems to be the perfect moment for Louis Respect, the perfect time. Last year it looked pretty good for Louis. He won some Emmys under his belt. I think he's built on momentum from last year and stands a great chance of taking out the Emmys, this Emmy. The also good thing is his tape he submitted is quite strong too. It's got a great scene at the end where you ask a girl out and you think, unlike Lena Dunham in the lead actress category, this might hit the Academy demos. Going against Louis, his biggest problem is, well, he wasn't able to win last year. It was a pretty weak field. And also, is this a bit too understated, the Louis performance? It's not really comedic, over-the-topness like what you get from Jim Parsons. Will they go for such an understated performance? And, you don't often have people winning Emmys for playing themselves. Jerry Seinfeld was never able to win. Larry David's never been able to win this category. So that could be a stumbling block for Louis. Now, also nominated in this category is Jason Bateman, returning to TV as Michael Bluth after, about 7 years, about 7 years off the TV. And his big problem is his episode isn't very self-contained. It sort of has a lot of loose threads at the end of it. It's the season opener. And it seems like the Academy didn't really warm to Arrested Development the way that some of the fans might have. And it didn't do very well with nominations. It looks like it probably is going to be a hard ask for Jason Bateman to win. Going in his favour is there is still a lot of respect for Arrested Development. It's a past winner for Best Comedy Series. And he's all over his tape. He's got the full 30 minutes of Michael Bluth acting. He's got some funny stuff. He's got some sad stuff. Look, depending on the taste of the people voting in this Academy, he could get over the line, but it's going to be a hard ask for him. Also, Tom O'Neill from Gold Derby got a chance to talk with Jason Bateman about the Emmys. Let's hear what he had to say.
The victory of Arrested Development at the Emmys that first year was a shock.
Was it year 1 or 2?
Year 1.
Was it?
Here was Arrested Development, a new show, low ratings, critics loved it, but it came into the Emmys as the underdog, to put it mildly, and it won Best Directing early in the night. It won Best Writing. And then as the final envelope of the night opens, it pulls off this miracle and wins Best Comedy Series. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty great for such an underdog and something that was sorely needed because we'd sort of, there was blood in the water from the very get-go. We knew that what we were doing was something very, very specific, and oftentimes that's anathema to broadcast television. You really want to appeal to as many people as possible. That's the name of the game. Whereas if you're on Netflix or on one of the cable channels now, you're not mandated to appeal to such a large number. So the content can be more specific and to a lot of people a lot more satisfying. So to have that kind of mainstream success or profile we thought might be helpful. Turned out not to be, and we were gone not too soon after that. But we were grateful that we did get the time at least that we did get. We weren't even sure if we were going to get the back 9 in the first season. So This was great, and the Golden Globe attention was fantastic, and and people like yourself, talking so positively about the show was really, really helpful.
Your character's supposed to be the sane one in the group, but he's pretty crazy himself, isn't he?
Yeah, and these 7 years, you will see, they've not been too kind to Michael. He's a little bit closer to the rest of his family, and he's banged up quite a bit, and he's just trying to avoid some of those same instincts and get himself back on his feet.
The setup of the season 4 with Netflix, as I understand it, is we're going to see an episode that does catch us up from 2006 to today, and then maybe another episode that moves us forward. Is that the right way to set it up?
Not really, and in fact, even referring to it as season 4 might give you an expectation that might not be met, because they are separate episodes that are dedicated, each one to a particular character. So they may look like the Fox shows, but they don't deliver in the same way on purpose, because of the unique platform that is Netflix. All these episodes get released on the same day, and you can watch them in any order, just like an album. So that informed Mitch's efforts as he started to kind of map out the plot and how all these episodes would sort of braid to create this singular act of a 3-act story that will play out over the next few years. Whether the acts 2 and 3 will be in a movie or more Netflix stuff, I don't know, but it's definitely a different and unique version of Arrested Development.
Also nominated in this category is Don Cheadle from House of Lies. Now, Don Cheadle, very respected. He's got probably the most dramatic performance out of everyone in this category, so if that's what the voters are wanting to go for, they can go for him here. It just seems like the buzz for House of Lies and the strength of the tape aren't enough to get him over the line. But if he does, it will be for respect for him, respect for the prestige and that type of show, the sort of Showtime dramedy, getting him over the line. We've also got Matt LeBlanc, another Showtime guy, nominated. And I guess in some ways, he's the most overdue nominee here. He got nominated a couple times for Friends. He's been nominated for an episode of Episodes. And he's the overdue contender here. He's not in his episode much. So he's going to need to hope for Matt LeBlanc love and overdue love to get him across the finish at the Emmys. Now, our editor, Chris Beecham, got a chance to chat with Matt LeBlanc. Let's hear what Matt LeBlanc had to say.
Because your character, and it is a character, is based, is called Matt LeBlanc, and a skewed version of you. Do you ever have input in terms of what they're going to write for you, or have you ever had an objection to something they've written that you didn't want to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. We'll talk about stuff, and I'll pitch a joke here and there, but for the most part, it's all them writing it. And I haven't, I've been pretty, people have called me brave as a result of doing this, and I got to say, I don't feel very brave. I feel really safe with them writing it. I know that they're looking out for me, and they're protecting me, and they're willing to go right to the edge of the waterfall without going over. And I think they've done a great job with it. I'm really proud of the show, and I don't feel like, we're not making a documentary. Let's face it. It's a fictitious character. It's basically in my opinion, it's the public's perception of a celebrity. That's who this guy is, and it's been really fun to sort of poke fun at and use a lot of my history and make fun of things. And some things are sort of closer to the truth than others. And I think that the fun part for me is to not distinguish what those things are, and just sort of let people think. If people want to believe that that's who I really am, that's okay. As long as they're watching and having a good time, that's, I know who I am.
Has it caused any confusion at all? Somebody think a fan or a friend or a family member or somebody thinks, I wonder if Matt's really like that.
Yeah, the biggest confusion is in myself. I'll read it sometimes and I'll say, do I actually do that? Is that fake or is that real? What's going on?
You wonder if they noticed something about you that you didn't even know yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So it's almost like a therapy session at times.
There you go, lead actor in a comedy series, nicely wrapped up. But if you want to watch the extended candid interviews with those stars, if you want to watch extended candid interviews amongst us editors debating and discussing these contenders, if you want to log your own predictions and join in the discussions on our forums, then please go to goldderby.com. Thanks for watching.